Discussion?
I'm so sorry.
That's
I have to record it for April.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the same sign, motion carried. Okay, and I also ask for your patience a little bit tonight with Zoom. April is not here to run Zoom or the public comment portion of this. So Kristen is having to do it along with their other responsibilities here as clerk tonight. And they have to wander back and forth to get everything that we need. So. Yeah, but this can-
I do.
All right, and we're gonna open 7:02. We will open for public comment.
David Zip.
Not right now. Thank you.
And then I think the next person is Ellis Bull.
I'll pass.
Anyone else in person like to make public comment? Anyone on Zoom, please raise your hand. I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Public comment. 7:03 actually. All right, we'll move on to the approval of the meeting minutes of October 14, 2024. Are there any corrections or changes to those minutes?
I have a correction on Sherry McGarry's spelling of her name under public listed,
Which line is
line 9.
Okay. Are there any other corrections? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the October 14, 2024 minutes as amended.
I'll make the motion to approve the October 14th, 2024 meeting, as presented with correction.
Motion, do I have support?
I'll support.
All right, we have motion and support. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carried. All right, next is the treasurer's report. Yes.
Okay, there are copies of the treasurer report, available for the public and as well as the board members. There isn't anything unusual. We are getting ready to send out our winter tax bills. So that tax account is gonna start fluctuating, and the nice thing for the township is that is when we get our operating money. So we will be able to start increasing our general fund, with tax money. There isn't anything. We're just gonna be starting winter taxes, and there'll be more information online in the voice about everything. We have our new online payment system through BSNA, and it's fantastic, and it's really simple to use, and it's just gonna be better all around and linked into all of our software. So, and that is currently online. We already started using the payment system.
Super, super. The only thing I see is our road fund is about to be depleted today. All right, any questions for Julie? Thank you.
All right,
Julie.
thank you.
All right, Kristen, we're gonna go on to the report.
So you all have a copy of the warrants in front of you. I did take a minute and pay all my election workers. They did an amazing job less than a week ago. We do have, as designated on there, 3 different ARPA payments. One is for the BSNA assessing and tax upgrade. And then just some of the upgrade, they did the final download from the clerk last week. And then we have the removal and installation of the new front doors. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
When will we be completely on the PS?
Like December 18th? I think I'll cut everything out of BSNA for the December meeting. And I'll have to manually input November's meeting into BSNA because it was a weird timing.
I'm
So,
just curious.
yeah, fingers crossed. I'll let you know when we're doing the training, Matt, if you wanna come in.
Alright, I entertain a motion to approve the general warrants as presented, $48,432.60.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion? If not, we will call.
Doug,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
I support, Ron.
Yes. Motion carries.
Yeah, I got a couple more. We have the EMS building installment payment, which is 100% offset with the lease payment from Lake Charlevoix EMS. In the amount of $10,248.13. I'll make a motion to make that payment. I'll support.
Support. Is there any further discussion? If not, we will.
Doug,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
I support, Ron.
Yes. Motion carries.
So the final is the Maple Grove Charlevoix Road Commission. In the amount of $339,960.91 out of the road fund. I'll make a motion to pay that.
I'll support.
that.
Okay, the motion is perfect. I just want to make a comment on that because we are 2,000, the actual, this amount was $2,000 less than what the actual bid amount was, a little less than $2,000, but then the county road commission contributed their 25,000, so considerably less than what the original bid amount was. So we've been seeing that fairly consistently with our road bids lately. They're all still too high, but it's been pretty consistent that way. So we have motion and support. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Doug,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
I support, Ron.
Yes. Motion carries. All right, anything else, Crystal?
That is it for me.
All right, reports. Looks like Mr. Justice is here this evening. Don?
You gotta talk loud,
All right,
not sure you're gonna get
It's
much
not
out of that.
okay,
I think we blew a fuse. It was like so soft, so yeah.
all right, well,
You could, as long as it's not working, you could stand over here so everybody can kind of hear.
Or if you want to use this.
Sure.
Good evening, can you hear me? We've had a pretty light week or last couple of weeks for being a commissioner. I had a meeting last Wednesday for building and grounds. And really nothing exciting happened in that. There was talk of renaming the Whiting Park Green Building to Whiting Park Hall. And that's gonna come in front of the commissioners for final approval at our meeting this Wednesday at 9:30. So there's a commissioners meeting this Wednesday at 9:30. The next one and 2 weeks after that is canceled already for Thanksgiving. And I have a feeling that the same thing is gonna happen in December on our meeting that's scheduled for December 25th. We haven't canceled it yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be canceled. Also last Thursday, we had the Area Agency on Aging meeting. And I think I've read you guys the mission statement, but I'd like to read it to you again, just so everybody knows what we are about on Area Agency on Aging. I think I just lost it. Okay, there it is. The mission statement for the Area Agency on Aging is, our mission is to serve and advocate for older persons, adults with disabilities and caregivers by supporting their independence, dignity, and quality of life. So that is a 10-county agency, which Charlevoix is a part of. And the biggest thing that came out of that meeting was that there are some policies that are coming out for seniors, and there was talk of them not having enough money, first of all, but a lot of the policies that are coming out are for bigger cities. And they're advocating for getting different policies because the big policies are not a one size fits all. our needs are different here than in a big city. Also, last Thursday, I had a county planning commission meeting. And the biggest thing I thought that came out of that was that there was a issue in Marion Township for a housing project that Brian Nord is working on. And as all it's doing is taking properties that he owns already and combining them, and there's already 8 units on there. But some of the stuff didn't happen through the proper channels. So they're trying to make it just go through the proper channels, but there are still even people who object to them getting the 8 houses where there's already 8 units. And then the other thing I have is, this just dawned on me tonight when I was leaving the house. So I'm doing this logo for the Charlotte Lake County. And they want to use it for the Whiting Park. And I have 6 other logos, and this is the one that they chose. Was like 3 or 4 years ago I did this for them. And it's finally came back around. And I just thought if Hayes Township wanted a logo for anything for a park, you're more than welcome to any of the logos I have.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's really easy to tweak, and whatever you want done to it, we can do that too. So something to think about if you want it. I've got some logos.
Why don't you show it to the public,
Any questions?
Bike trail. We should have a little pickup with phase 3.
Phase 3 and also with the request for proposals for the final phase. Like, we approved the final phase to go out for request for proposals like 6 months ago. And there's money for it, and the request for proposal is still not ready to go out. The one good thing about phase 3 not being done, not that there's any good things, but each day that it is not completed, the contractors have to pay $1,500 per day. So they are already above $50,000 that they owe coming back.
Any questions for Bob? No, thank you.
No, thank
Bob,
you.
for all
Thanks,
do.
Bob.
I'll reach out about the logos
Yes,
in the
please do.
future for sure. That's awesome.
Yes, I've got 6 more.
All right, zoning administrator report, you all have copies of the report. It's still really busy. Another application in today for another big position. Working on, I think, 3 today, 4 reviews right now. We're all in the process, 2 of which will be heard on the 19th for planning commission meeting. But any questions? All right, move on to planning commission, next.
The planning commission met twice in the month of October. On October 15th, they met for the regular business meeting. The planning commission discussed renewable energy ordinances. On October 22nd, the planning commission met for a special meeting. The shoreland landscape plan review that was scheduled was withdrawn. The planning commission held more discussions on the compatible renewable energy ordinance and decided to support the latest version of the MTA is developing. The next scheduled planning commission meeting is scheduled for November 19th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
All right, any questions for Matt? Want to pass on to planning commission? Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Doug, zoning board of appeals?
ZBA has not had a meeting, so I really don't have anything to report.
All right, any questions for Doug with no meeting? Thank you, Doug. Parks and Rec, Julie.
We had to postpone our November meeting because we had people sick and unexpectedly called out of town. We will be rescheduling it, and it'll be up on the website. So that's all I have for that right now.
Okay. Any questions for Julie? Parks and Rec? Thank you, Julie.
Thanks.
All right, trustees?
I don't have that.
I like that see Maple Road really finished up, looking pretty good up there, for sure. So, all right, we're gonna move on to our new business, Hayes Township Hall Fire Barn Snow Removal Contract. All right.
So I have the proposal here from B&G. They do an amazing job and they're essentially kind of on call for us. I haven't shared this with Roy yet. They did give a proposal for the EMT building, so I won't sign it for EMS, but I'll sign it if approved for Hayes Township Hall.
You know, I don't know how they do it for this amount, they just did the same amount for several years, so, and they do a great job. Even if we get here, it's not done yet, all of it right there, so. I would entertain a motion to approve the proposal from B&G Enterprises.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support it.
Motion with support. Any further discussion? Not.
Doug,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
I support Ron.
Yes. Passes. All right, set board of review dates for Tuesday, December 10th. Tuesday after the third Monday.
Second Tuesday after the first Monday, or first Tuesday after this, yeah, you did mess me up. I saw Lisa, she doesn't believe with the new laws, there will be anything to actually review. But we still need to schedule it in case there is. She would prefer midday. So anytime between 11 and 1 to start would be great.
Review noon to completion of business.
Perfect.
All right, any motion to that effect, December 10th. Completion of business.
I'll make a motion. Can't find my sheet in front of me. This one. I'll make a motion to set December board of review for Tuesday, December 10th, noon until completion of business.
Support for that.
I will support that.
Support, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign, motion carries. All right, it's going to move us on to the planning commission retirement and term. I was contacted by Marilyn Moorhead this last week, indicating that there's several different reasons, mostly personal reasons that she is going to resign from the planning commission. It's been pretty difficult. She's been part of our shoreland review group for quite a long time. It was getting more difficult for her to traverse the terrain on some of those sites, but she's been a trooper. She really has. She's been an advocate for the lakes and the shoreline ever since I've known her up here. We didn't always agree to begin with, but we came to a great agreement with what we have for our shoreline review committee today. And we've made a lot of progress with the number of parcels where the shoreline have been restored to our agreement on that several years ago. I wanted to give Bob Jess a compliment on that too, because he was the planning commission chair at the time that the planning commission put that in place in the zoning ordinance. But we're truly missed Marilyn on the planning commission and her input. She claims that she still wants to help out wherever she can. Doesn't really want to quit, but she'll be around. So first thing I think we have to do tonight, before I turn it over to our legal counsel, is the next part of the presentation. We need to accept the resignation. I would entertain a motion. I don't want that. With regret. A motion to accept the resignation.
I'll make the motion with regret to accept Marilyn Moorhead's resignation.
And I will support that.
Motion support. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carried. All right, Mr. Millar, are you there to present the reasoning why we're doing planning, but this was all instigated by this resignation. That's what prompted all of this. And we're going through all of our records. So I would like to turn this over to you, if I may.
Certainly. And good evening, everyone. So in the course of reviewing information on resignations and the current status of the Planning Commission, it became apparent that we've kind of gotten away from the staggered term that the the Planning Enabling Act and Hayes Township's Planning Commission's bylaws require. By way of background, both the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, which is the statute that allows a township to create a planning commission, along with the Hayes Township Planning Commission bylaws, provide that members of the Planning Commission, with the exception of the board representative, serve 3-year terms, and those terms should be staggered so that 2 people are replaced or come up for renewal every 3 years. And we got to looking at the way that Hayes Township Planning Commission was currently populated, and we've got 2 groups of planning commissioners, 3 members each, that kind of all expire at the same time. Roy Griffiths, C.T. Martin, and Carrie Cuddeback, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, their terms all expire April 11, 2025. And then we've got Mark Snyder, whose term expires December 15 of 2026. And then less than a month later, on January 11, 2027, both Marilyn Moorhead and Rex Greenslade's terms expire. So we've got 3 commissioners expiring on or in April of 2025. We got 1 in December of 2026, and then 2 more in January of 2027. So we've kind of gotten away from the stagger so that 2 commissioners' terms expire every year. And so I was asked to research what could or should be done about that. And I looked at the Planning Enabling Act, as well as the Township Zoning Ordinance and Planning Commission bylaws, and believed that it would be appropriate for the Township Board to realign the Planning Commission members' terms so we get back to that 2 people's terms expiring every 2 years. And so the other thing that I was told that the township would like to do to make it easier to keep track of this would be to make it so that all Planning Commission members' terms expire in the same month from year to year to year. So they would all expire in November of any given year, or December, whatever year the planning or the township board were to pick. It was suggested we use November of 2024 as kind of the start date for that. And my recommendation is that although it's going to change some terms, not by much, that we pull Roy Griffiths and C.T. Martin forward such that their terms would expire in November of 2024. Carrie Cuddeback and Marilyn Moorhead, Mark Snyder's terms can be realigned to expire in November of 2025. And then Marilyn Moorhead and Rex Greenslade's terms would expire in November of 2026. And it was also suggested that I take a look at whether or not we could reappoint Roy Griffiths and C.T. Martin, whose terms would expire this month if this is what the Township Board decides to do. I took a look at, again, the Planning Enabling Act. I looked at the Township Zoning Ordinance. I looked at case law, could not find anything that says that the planning commission could not be repopulated in this way. And finally, well, so let me finish that thought. So I did not find anything that would prohibit the Township Board from repopulating the Planning Commission, reappointing Roy Griffiths and C.T. Martin at tonight's meeting, if that's what the Township Board decides to do. And then I was also told with the resignation of Marilyn Moorhead that the supervisor would like to propose Alexander Curley as a replacement for Marilyn Moorhead. And so Alexander Curley would finish out the rest of her term through November 15 of 2026. All of this has been put forth in a resolution, which I shared with Ron earlier. And I believe you have that in front of you. It basically lays out what I just explained to you and the desire of the board to realign the Planning Commission terms so that we get back to the 2 expiring terms per year, and then reappoint Roy Griffiths and C.T. Martin to another 3-year term on the Planning Commission and appoint Alexander Curley to fill out Marilyn Moorhead's term. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Guy?
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
I would like to know why it's being done now, when there is a new supervisor taking the place of Ron VanZee on the 20th of November. Why couldn't it wait until after the 20th of November? It just seems like this is done because Mr. VanZee was voted out of office at this time.
This was prompted by Marilyn Moorhead, and as we went back through the records, it was very clear that we weren't following the Planning Enabling Act and our own bylaws with the expiration, because there have been so many through the years, so many different times that terms were filled immediately when they were vacated, and it spread it out through a long period of time. The idea is to try to get them all in line so that they expire the same month of every year. It was all prompted by a resignation. So we went through to our township council, and this is what Mr. Millar has recommended for us to do.
Make a comment.
Yes.
Could you speak in the microphone?
Mr. Millar, I'm Bill Conklin. I've recently been elected, and I will take office as the new supervisor on November 20th. My first concern is, where is the due process of giving notice to the Hayes Township population of this change? If there is on record that these 3 members expire on April of 25, why is it now being proposed without advance notice to the Hayes Township citizenry prior to this meeting? Number 2, this was a contentious election. There's 2 philosophies that were at issue. The philosophy, which is being advanced by the supervisor, zoning administrator, and the present planning commission, specifically Mr. Griffiths. And by overwhelming majority, the voters stated, we do not like and we do not approve of the present philosophy. I object that anything would be changed at this meeting to cause Mr. Griffiths or anybody else to have their term be changed from April of 25 to today. That's not proper, and it's not proper, and it's not right. And I totally object.
Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Miller? I think you've done all and made recommendations.
Any recommendation? No, I have been asked to prepare a resolution. What's that?
I said what I did, you've done the research on it and you've made your recommendation to the board. Is that correct? Can you hear me?
I was asked if this was a possibility, and the research that I have conducted and the conclusion I've reached is that yes, there is nothing improper about doing this.
Okay.
If I could clarify.
I'm not the one making the decision here, so you need to ask the board.
Mr. Millar, as the attorney, the board can ask you to research a position that they take. You can respond to the position that they take. Is that correct?
I will give them opinions on whether or not what they are wanting to do is supported by the law and the statutes of the state of Michigan.
So you are not making a recommendation. You are giving them legal advice based on what the current board wants to do. What they're suggesting to do. Is that correct?
Yes.
No further questions.
Yeah, I'm not a decision maker here.
All right, so we have a resolution in front of us, and presented by Bob Lar, in response to our request to try to clarify the terms and align the terms so that they expire the same month of every year, staggered with 3, 2, and 1 year term.
And I totally oppose that recommendation.
Please sit down, Mr. Conklin. You'll have plenty of, please sit down. And we know you object, it's okay. So I'm talking to the board right now. This is a decision that the board has to make. And so that makes it easier in the future to know when planning commission terms expire. It will be in November of every year. So you'll have at least 2 people's terms expired. The board of trustees rep just goes with his term of office as a board of trustees member. So that would be that. So we have 6 people that would be on this resolution, as Mr. Millar pointed out, is very clear as to when the term start. So, are there any questions on the resolution? If not,
Ron, can we talk a little bit about Alexander Curley filling the remainder of Marilyn Moorhead's term?
yes. Yes. Would you like to say something? Would you like me?
No, go ahead, you talk with them.
No, we have the application. I thought this was the perfect time. Especially for planning commission and Alex's involvement with Big Rock and Politics and Consumers Energy. As we're talking about the ordinance that is being proposed right now by the state of Michigan. We also I thought that would be a great idea to pull in a representation from the Bay Shore area. We don't have representation from Bay Shore. And the Curley family has been there since the late 1800s. They have established businesses there many years ago. I'm not sure all what happened. I know there was a fire to one of the businesses over there. Maybe Alex, maybe you want to talk a little bit about your history in Bay Shore and your family's history.
Yeah, I'm sure. My family's been in northern Michigan since the beginning of the 1800s. Between Clare Township here, they've been in different forms, whether the one room with the the one room schoolhouse that was in Bay Shore. I've had parents that were, my great grandmother and my grandmother were teachers there. My grandmother owned the house we live in, the Shintango, which was open as a bar and restaurant every year seasonally. They owned the hotel that was in Bay Shore, so Hayes Township means a lot to me. My family's been here a long time. That's why I ran, tried to be supervisor. I have roots here, but I also want to be a part of positive change for our township and into the future. So when they asked, me to put an application for that, I was excited just to help be part of positive change. Maybe give a younger view than some of the other people that are on boards, and maybe give a voice for Bay Shore too. So,
Thank you, Albert.
yes.
So yeah, I am from the board support. I would say to Bill, the board extra. All right, so we're back to the resolution again. I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution. Do you have a number for this?
I do. It's 11112024 B as in boy.
Could the resolution be held at the next
All right, with
board meeting?
with that, I would entertain a motion to approve resolution 111124 B.
2024.
Oh, 20. Like make that motion.
I'll make that motion with the preference that this township needs to move forward. It's not a us versus them, him versus her, whatever. So I will make the motion to approve resolution 11112024 B in filling the vacancy on the planning commission, realigning and reappointing planning commission members to the statutory required staggered terms.
Okay, I have a motion. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Support. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign, motion.
You need a roll call vote.
Oh, we need a roll call. Okay, we can.
It's a resolution.
Correct.
Doug,
Thank you.
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
I support Ron.
Yes. Motion carries. All right, next is Parks and Rec Master Plan. Julie. Beautiful pictures.
Oh, thank you. So Parks and Rec has been working on the edit since we had the public hearing. And we definitely want to make sure that we get this approved and in before the deadline of February 1st for the any DNR grants. And this is a collaboration of edits from comments and input from Parks and Rec. And so I have a resolution to approve the updated Hayes Township Recreation Master Plan. The nice thing about taking our time a little bit after the feedback was that it bumps us into the next year. So we have 2025 to 2030, which is nice. Just as general information, things that were updated were a lot of the pictures were outdated. We tried to freshen those up. We tried to make sure that we were thorough in listing all the amenities and updating anything that was out of date. We've lost a swimming facility since the America Inn no longer offers public swimming. So we made sure to update that, remove all Friends of the Pool. That group no longer exists. So things like that just kind of bring it up into the present. It was a really good base that we had to work from. And I think moving forward, we have really good ideas and suggestions. And if in the future there's something that we wanted to change or plans change, specifically like with the bike path. I mean, I know we're all very optimistic for that, but you just never know. It is a very expensive endeavor, and we could always go back and amend the plan. So all the board members hand copies, and then I will also make sure it's posted this evening, on our website to take a look at, but our committee's really proud of what we put together.
Well, I want to thank the Parks and Rec Committee for all the work they did, the planning commission for the public hearing and the input that is given back to Parks and Rec for the few minor changes in that plan, and then again, Parks and Rec those changes and incorporating those changes into the master plan. So with that, would you like to read that resolution?
Absolutely. So I'll make a motion to approve resolution 11112024. Should be A, yes, second. A for the 2025-2030 Park and Recreation Master Plan update. Whereas Hayes Township and Charlevoix County has undertaken a 5-year Parks and Recreation Plan update, which describes the physical features, existing recreation facilities, and desired actions to be taken to improve and maintain recreation facilities during the period between 2025 and 2030. And whereas a public hearing comment session was held by the Hayes Township Planning Commission on January 16, 2024 at the Hayes Township Hall to provide an opportunity for citizens to express opinions, ask questions, and discuss all aspects of the recreation plan. And whereas Hayes Township, Charlevoix County has, oops, that's a typo, sorry. Oh, no, whereas Hayes Township in Charlevoix County has developed the plan for the benefit of the entire community and to adopt the plan as a document to assist in meeting the recreation needs of the community. And whereas after consideration of comments from the public hearing held on January 16, 2024, the Hayes Planning Commission recommended the plan be shared with the Hayes Township Board of Trustees for adoption. Now therefore be it resolved, the Hayes Township Board hereby adopts the Hayes Township Recreation Plan as a guideline for improving recreation for the residents of Hayes Township, Charlevoix County on this day, November 11th, 2024. And then there's a place for our clerk to sign, and then everything can be submitted.
Thank you. With that, I would entertain a motion to approve resolution 11112024.
So I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll support.
And we have motion and support. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Matt,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes,
Julie.
Yeah.
I support. Ron.
Thank you again.
Thank you. And again, this will be posted on the website
A
tonight.
lot of work with that for sure, and for a long period of time. All right, the next is an engineering proposal from performance engineer. Pretty much everybody understands that you make the feature is counted apart. Yeah, we go that the rain gardens are not doing what they're supposed to do, and that we have excess water that's being spilled over directly into the lake and all the upper portions of that driveway area. Literally washed out the old fire functions. We undermined that, and so we had to remove all the concrete from that. So I went to performance engineering because they were the most familiar with the project and to try to get some ideas, and they indicated that they'd be happy to put a proposal together for us. And when I met with Aaron, he seemed quite anxious to try to fix some of those things. We don't have to accept this proposal tonight. We could one of the boards to see the proposal if you want to go out to get other estimates. This is just the engineering aspect of it. This is not the work, but to put together the storm drainage system that's necessary to make it function the way it's supposed to. And make it so that we don't have so much water going directly into so it's up to the board tonight to make a decision whether you want to get other proposals on this or whether you want to go ahead with the engineering study. Looking at the scope of the work, I felt that it was very reasonable, very looking at other costs. Give up to the board to make that.
Well, I was a part of the meeting with Aaron, and, I think that it does make a big difference that he is so familiar with the project itself. If we were to accept this, this doesn't mean, automatically that, performance engineering would do the job. This is just the engineering study on it.
They would, yeah, you would be authorizing them out of this proposal that they put together for the engineering, but not to actually do the construction.
Right.
We wanted an idea of what it was going to cost,
Exactly.
so that was the reason for meeting the engineer.
I think it makes a lot of sense, to move forward. I think they'll give us a good, idea of what this is going to cost, time-wise and everything. But I do think when we have that information, that we should put it up for bid, because it will be a larger project.
Right.
But yeah, no, Aaron knowing it the best, this will give us the clearest, idea of things. And again, we can have discussions, we can budget and be able to move forward knowing this project has to be done before a lot of other things in the park.
So I'm trying to read all of it. We schedule in the article I know that we have a budget in here.
For the project itself.
For the engineering.
Oh, for the engineering, yeah, we do have some, I wanna say like 5,000 of the ARPA funds towards, services.
Oh,
Okay, and we need to spend it, we need to go where it's allotted for, right, spend the funds. I'll make a motion to use ARPA funds to accept the engineering services proposal from Performance Engineering for $3,500.
I'll support.
motion and support. Is there any further discussion? If not, we need to go.
Doug?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I support. Ron?
Yes. All right, we're back to public comments. This
David Zip?
No.
Connie Foster? So Ellis Bull.
This is Mike working now or not?
Not really.
I can hear you, but
I think everybody needs to hear.
everybody else.
Right, can everyone hear now? Yep. Okay. I think I'm gonna sit in a chair, so I'll be down close. Well, I wasn't necessarily gonna speak tonight, but I was so surprised to hear that the township and this board created an illegal situation a year or so ago when they set up a situation without the proper staggered terms. The improperly unstaggered terms were the reason for the action taken tonight, not the resignation of Marilyn Moorhead. Even had Marilyn not resigned, this problem still would have risen. And it's the responsibility of this board, and particularly the supervisor, who's the legal agent and who's supposed to know these things, to have allowed this to happen. Furthermore, it was not properly noticed in the agenda. All the agenda said was terms. We didn't know that Todd Millar was going to be here. I don't disagree with anything Todd said, by the way, or not that I haven't researched it, but we had no idea that an attorney was going to address something about terms. We thought there would just be a discussion within the board about terms of what we don't know. It's not a proper agenda item. and it's certainly not public notice, as Bill Conklin was saying earlier. So I consider that these actions taken tonight by the board, and particularly by the supervisor who's responsible and has probably known about this for many, many months, and yet has not informed the public that the townships have been acting illegally. And it should have been a public matter. It should have been discussed in the election campaign that we just had. It should have been something of wide discussion, and yet it was covered up until tonight, until we found out that we get down to agenda number 9 or 10, whatever it was, 11. It's just not proper, and I recommend that the board reconsider the action it took tonight, reconsider the fact that it was caused by the board's own illegality and the supervisor's own illegality, and postpone this matter till it can be discussed further publicly. It's malfeasance, in my opinion, by the supervisor. And I would say the whole board, but primarily the supervisor.
Thank you.
Anyone else in person? Betty?
Ron, this is exactly why you were not reelected.
This is, we're not.
There
we're
is,
gonna go-
there
we're
is
not-
a tremendous.
No way,
Let
Betty.
me speak.
No, we're,
have
you
time
can
to
speak to
speak.
something, you
I
will
have 3
not,
minutes.
you will not go after anybody personally. Share your opinion, but don't go
That's my
there.
opinion.
Don't go after Ron. Share your opinion and your thoughts. Don't do that. We're not making personal attacks at this meeting.
I'm not attacking you. I'm
Are-
giving an explanation.
Pull it back and try again.
I don't agree with you.
That's fine. We won't let anybody do that. I
I
wouldn't let
think that
anybody do that
this
to anybody.
decision tonight was inappropriate. I agree with Ellis. I agree with Bob that the township, the residents did not know that this was on the agenda. They had no way to know. There was no approaching the residents of this township. And I think that is a terrible thing to do by all of you. I think it's totally unfair, and I think that it was a setup. And there's one other thing that I'd like to talk about, and that's the resolution from Parks and Rec. I attended the January Parks and Rec committee or planning commission meeting. And the hearing sent the survey back to the Parks and Rec committee because it was not well done. And it was supposed to be reviewed by Parks and Rec and brought back to the planning commission. Maryland made that move. I was there, and I know that that's what happened. And I think that anybody here on the planning commission would agree with that. Because that was the decision that was made. Maryland made that motion to have that done, and it was not done. I'm sorry, but I think that 2 very unfortunate things have happened tonight, and I think it was a setup.
Anyone else in person? Rex?
Yeah, I'm going to change the subject slightly. Last Friday, a friend of the township and a neighbor of mine in Forest Cove had a very nasty accident and quite severely injured his leg. The good news that came out of that was that because of the Charlevoix EMS, the ambulance was there on Susan Lake within about 6 to 7 minutes from being called. And in fact, then they had to get extra people to extricate the person from the property. in question. I just wanted to give a shout out to the township and everybody else that created the new EMS authority, the building, and enabled such a fast response to take place. There are good things that happen in this township and have happened and continue to happen. And thank you very much on behalf of Frank and those are the people that may unfortunately find themselves in a similar situation. So thank you.
Thanks, Rex. All right, I've got Jim Rudolph raising his hand.
I have to, in the lawyer's presentation, he said you could have picked November or December. And I think that once again, I just think that it's a problem now to where as the board changes over time, you know, it just makes sense that it would be in December, not in November, to take and appoint new members. Thank you.
Anybody else? Tim Boyko's got his hand.
Yes, Tim Boyko. Withholding the resolution from the public, Ron, was a new low. And to end your term using that duplicitous action is shameful. And the rest of the board going along with it and not really questioning him and delaying this until December with the new supervisor is very ill-advised. I'm really disappointed. I thought at least you could have gone out in a high note, but you chose not to. Goodbye.
Anybody else on Zoom?
Okay, the post public comment at 7:59. All right, what's trustee comment? Start maybe at this end. Yes. Julie?
I just want to say thank you. And no matter what, your hard work is appreciated. And no matter what, there's always going to be people who will disagree. And I think we all are acutely aware of that. And that's okay. But I hope that there's calm that comes to the township. But just so you know, we all very much appreciate all of your hard work.
I ditto Julie. It's been a lot.
Yeah, it's fine. So, yes, this will be my last time here. A lot of respects to this evening. Not a reason. You know, I grew up in a farm family, 8 siblings.
Hard to hear. Could you use the other mic?
I suppose it's other microphones around.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Grew up in a farm family with 8 siblings. We were a really poor family at a dairy farm. In fact, you know, I don't know that it's true, but family rumor was that my 2 older brothers invented copper wire by arguing over a penny. I think we were that poor. But one thing that our parents, because we were poor, we couldn't afford to hire anybody to do anything with a rope. We had to learn how to fix it ourselves. We had to take care of it. Another thing that our parents taught us to do is if you see something wrong or going wrong, or if you have an idea of how to make things better, that you also learn how to take care of that. That you do that. Then when I started working in government, especially in supervision, with people would come to me and say, not in my job description, it's not in my job description. It set me back quite a bit. to hear that. Working with the city of Lansing, I think we had 1,800 employees and I don't know how many unions were. At one time, there were 17 unions representing 1,800 employees in the city. And we heard that a lot. And when we heard that a lot, we had to adjust. And it seemed like it was always at the expense of the taxpayer. That we had to create another position, and we had to hire an outside contractor to do the work. Since I've been here at Hayes Township, none of that. I've never heard any indication of any of that. And I want to thank the four of you for making that possible. Doug and Matt, you give up your time, you give up your personal equipment. You've even had some of your own employees come and help many, many times at the township. So that the taxpayers wouldn't be burdened with all those extra costs. Kristen and Julie, I don't even know where to start with you. Everything. The food pantry, new coffee, I can't even name them all. Make day-to-day things so much easier for me. I want to just say to the four of you, never change yourself. Just continue being yourself. I want to thank all the support and encouragement I've had over the last few months. And for those people that did vote for me. My wife would like to tell everybody that either didn't vote for me or voted against me, thank you. Because now I can spend a lot more time at home. No, this is not an easy job. Those phone calls at 10 o'clock at night as to why your road wasn't graded, why mine wasn't put on, your neighbor's dispute, it's not always fun to do all of that stuff. I wish you would. That I would make a motion to. Sure.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Have a motion and support. Is there any further discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hold the same time.
Ron doesn't know about this, but we put together a little reception to thank him for all of his hard work. Anyone who would like to stay and have some cake with us and chat with Ron and thank him for his service, you're welcome to stay. Thank you.
Thank you.